What's up, YouTube and all you sexy buddy fighters? I'm Dragon King, and today I'll be bringing you a deck profile on the Good Turn Evil Auto Deity of the Chaos from the latest expansion, Driven to Disorder. Now, this deck focuses on the brand new cards. I try to make this build such that you do not need any of the old cards, and it still kicks butt. In fact, it's a more rushed version, and yeah, let's get to it. So for the buddy, I play Auto Deity Dragon Chaos Butts. Pay 2 gauge. During your turn, this card on the field cannot be destroyed, so it has the most special feature of the original Butts, and it has a cool new ability which is counter Auto Deity Emblage. You may pay 1 gauge if you may pay 1 life if you do call up to 1 Auto Deity monsters from your hand or deck. That is insane. By paying his call cost and into your field to a separate Auto Deity pay 1 life, call the monster from into another area into your field, and if you do shuffle your deck, and you may only use this once per turn. Does not say only once during your turn. You can also use it during your opponent's turn. It has double attack as well. It is crazy powerful. It is the whole core of this deck. Next up, we play 4 of Genome Upgrader Gear God version 1000. Now, this is the main Gear God you want to play. You do not really want to play the previous Gear Gods, because this Gear God syncs in very well with this deck. So call cost, put 1 card from top of a deck into this card. So pay 3 gauge. At the beginning of the attack phase, call up to 1 Chaos monsters from your drop zone by paying his call cost. That is just insane, because it's every battle phase you just keep on calling 1 Gear God. It doesn't reduces your hand size. It's crazy. And the powerful thing about this card is overkill. Discard a card from your hand during your main phase, equip up to 1 Chaos item, and call up to 1 Chaos monsters without paying the call cost or the card's cost. And then after that, shuffle your deck. Yes, Chaos Territory and Soul Guard, which means that most of the time in this deck, you would want to use this overkill to call your buddy Butts and equip your weapon as well. And when you do that together, when you use your weapon and equip Butts at the same time, because you equip your weapon first and then Butts come onto the field, you will get to draw 1 card. That's why it's really powerful. 1 card alone can gain you tons and tons of advantage. And that's why this card is so important. We play 4 copies, maximize it in deck. Next up, we play 2 of Gear God 8. So when a monster in your center is being destroyed, pay 2 gauge and summon him. If this card enters the field during your opponent's turn, you can call up to 1 size 3 or less chaos from your drop zone without paying the call cost. Now that is just insane. It has Chaos Territory and Penetrate as well. It's a good 50k 2 and 6k defense. It's a size 30. It's a very amazing card because many of the times, because this card does not have Chaos Drain, so once it dies, what I like to do is I would like to call upon my Gear God 8 and maybe call onto another Butts, and the monsters at the side I can be used to Chaos Drain for this card, and Butts as well can call another monster, preferably draw engine like a Chaos Penta, to draw into your cards, and that's how you gain your advantage rolling by so much. Then we play 4 of the buddy, as I said before. And next we play Chaos Penta. Now this card is really powerful because basically when this card enters the field, if you have another Auto Deity on your field, put the top card of your deck into your gauge, gain 1 life and draw 1 card. Now that is just a hell of a, that is just a Dragon Emperor legend, like we like to call it. Just gauge, gain life and draw. And also because sometimes you'll be using Butts effect to call him from the deck, this does not reduces your hand size but actually pluses your hand size instead. That's why Auto Deity is one of the top decks right now, because it just gains so much advantage and gaining hand size at the same time. Also, it searches a lot of cards from the deck, so it's very powerful. Next up, we play 3 of Cavalry Dragon Mech Chaos Kagale Bide. So put a monsters from your field into this card. So pay 2 gauge. When this card enters the field, if you have another auto deity on your field, remove a soul from your opponent field and deal 1 damage to your opponent. If this card has soul, it gets critical +1 penetrate. It has double attack and soul guard. So it's technically a 7k power, 3 crits, double attack, penetrate. Now this really brings on the pressure to your opponent, and it has soul guard as well. But only downside, it is a little hefty of gauge. It costs 2 gauge, but do not worry because we play a lot of gauge at as well. Chaos Penta is one of them, and I'll talk about the next few cards. Next up, we play All-Purpose Mech Chaos Tetra. So when your opponent attacks, basically redirects him. I would like to put him at the side because any penetrate damage would go to him. And it is a beefy. If you have another auto deity army, this card gets power 4000 and defense 4000. So that's a good that's a good 9k defense wall. It's very powerful, and you can use Bud's effect to call him on the counter call him on the field as well from your deck and redirects the attack to him. It's a very, very nice tank, one of my favorite tanks. Next up, excuse me. Next up, we play Special Attack Mech Chaos Delta. Now, as I said, this deck plays a lot of gauge adders, and this is one of them. It's an insane 9k attack power. When this card attacks, if you have another auto deity on your field, put the top 2 cards of your deck into your gauge. So technically, it's just an attack, gain 2 gauge. Because, you know, most of the time, you will definitely have an auto deity army. Next up, I play 2 of Evil Sword Dragon Demon's Chaos Sword Dragon. This is like the chibi Holy Sword Dragon of the chibi Panda version of the evil version. Now, the call cost is pay 1 gauge. When this card enters the field by card effect, if you have another auto deity on your field, for this turn, this card gets penetrate and double attack. And when this card's attack, you gain 1 life. So the reason I only play 2 compared to the rest of 3 is because it only gains that special ability when you call him from by a card effect. And you know, you can't really the only 2 ways of calling him by card effect during your turn is by using Bud's effect or by using your Gear God effect. So other than that, most of the time if you call it from your hand, you won't have that special effect. Alright, next I play 2 of the double rare Bombard Mech Chaos Cylinder. Now why is it called Bombard? Because it bombards your opponent monsters. Now pay 1 gauge. When this card enters the field, if you have another auto deity on your field, destroy a monster on your opponent's field. When this card attack, if you have 4 life or less for this turn, it gets double attack. So it's a nice, if you had 4 life, it's a nice call down, destroy your opponent monster and gets a double attack. Super rush. I also like to use Bud skill during my opponent's turn to occasionally, if I feel there's a threat, I will call him into field and destroy my opponent's monsters. Next up, we play 3 of Auto Deity Sword Chaos Drag Royale. Basically, pay 1 life if you can attack even if there's a monster in the center, and every time you call an Auto Deity monster on your field, you can draw a card. This only activates once per turn. So the reason why we only play 3 is because, you know, Gear God, you're able to search out your weapon, and you do not want your hand to get too cloggy or too many weapons in the beginning. So you want it to be just nice, this tank build. Next up, I play 4 of Black Auto Deity Awakening. Now this is your negate, as well as I would like to call it your draw engine, because nullify an attack and put up to 1 size 3 or less chaos monsters from your drop zone into your hand. If you have 2 or more chaos on your field, this card cannot be nullified. Very powerful card. Next up, we play the Bud's X-Link of the Chaos, a sound of the Auto Deity army. So you may only cast this card if your cards have attacked 3 or more times during this turn. Counter, put the top 2 cards of your deck into the gauge, gain 1 life, and put an Auto Deity army from your drop zone into your hand. You may only cast this card once per turn. So basically, it's like the same effect as Bud's X-Link. When you attack 3 or more times, charge 2, gain 1 life. And what card I would recommend to take? You know, I would definitely recommend the impact if you're going for game, because you know, I play 3 of this impact, the draw power is already so many. I wouldn't want to play 4 because you know, you do not want it to get too cloggy. And this card you can safely charge into your gauge or whatever, because you know that you can take back your impact with this. So what I see is auto deity. They are kind of like maximizing advantage gain, rushing at the same time, and have a ton of defensive spells that you would definitely survive. And that is just really crazy, you know, because it just brings auto deity right up to the top of the cake, you know. It's right at the top now. It's one of the strongest deck right now. It's just really crazy. Next up, we play 3 of Merciless Pressure. So discard a size 3 or greater monster from your hand, destroy a card on your opponent's field. So many of the times you'll feel that your hand size is really big because you know you just draw so much. And during your opponent's turn, you know, since your monsters you can't call from your hand, you would sometimes use it as a defense mechanism. Counter is already very strong and can destroy any card. Now that is just insane. Next up, we play 2 of Chaos Signal. So you may only cast this card when a monster on your field is destroyed during your opponent's turn. Counter, call to 1 auto deity monster from your deck by paying its call cost. Now you can search any card from any auto deity from your deck. Now that's just really crazy, because if you need Butts, you get a Butts. If you need Penta, you get a Penta. If you need it's a tanky ass wall so that your opponent will end his turn, you call a tanky ass wall. Next up, we play 2 Machining Sacrifice. Now it needs no introduction. So basically, sack a monster on your field and call to 1 size 3 or greater monster from your drop zone by paying its call cost. Do notice that I kind of play 2-2 because I'm adding the versatility in this deck. You know, sometimes your drop zone might not have a Penta which you want to call, so you want to use a Chaos Signal. And sometimes, you know, if your deck already has like 1 Penta left and you know it, and you know your Butts, you want to save it for the next turn, then you will use Machining Sacrifice to call your Penta on the field. You know, so it I don't want to focus all on like Machining Sacrifice. It gives the deck a lot more versatility. Okay, so next we play Raise Castle Town. Tap a monster on your opponent field. If you have 2 or more monsters on field, which you definitely have, stop cards like Butts and some crazy cards which attacks a lot of time. Now just rest it. And definitely stops the penetrate in the mirror match, which is very powerful. Next up, we play 1 Sunken Seabed Rune. So basically it's a set spell. If you're doing your main phase, if when a size 3 or greater monster enters your field, put this card from your, if this card is in your draw zone, pay 1 life and set it. And whenever your monsters size 3 or greater damage dealt to you is reduced to 0 by monsters, means it guards penetrate damage. And also when your monster on your field attacks, put the top card of your deck into your gauge once per turn. So it's like I said, this deck needs a lot of gauge. This is weak against penetrate. Basically chaos is generally weak against penetrate, and this card just really solves a lot of problem. I only play 1 because you know you wouldn't want more than 1. Your draw power engine is so powerful, it's really easy to get him out, so you know 1 is just nice. Next up, I play 3 of the Deity Lands Chaos Extemper Buster. Now you may only cast this card if your opponent have 5 life or less and no monsters on your center, and your cards attack 3 or more times during this turn. Come on guys, that is just too easy to fulfill. Deal 5 damage to your opponent. This card cannot be nullified and its damage cannot be reduced. If your opponent life will become 0, this card cannot change. Basically it's unrevivable. So picture this, Chaos is already a hell of a fighting ultimate machine, rushing crazy, I don't know what to say. And on top of that, there is this impact. You know how easy it is to get 3 attacks, because basically let's just say Butts is your only card on the field. Butts attack, Butts double attack, Butts call 1 card from the drop zone, you call your Chaos Sword Dragon from your deck. Attack again, penetrate, 2 crits, 2 crits. Just one card alone deals you 8 damage plus your impact of 5 damage, which is 13 damage. Just one card alone, my friend. Now that is just really powerful. Like I said, I only played 3 because basically you're able to take it back from your Bard's Hexling, and yeah, it's really powerful. Now I will show you some interesting combos that you can do with this deck. The first combo is how to use the Gear God 1000 combo. First of all, I will charge a card, charge and draw, and then I call Gear God Chaos version 1000. It has Soul Guard. Next up, I drop a card from my hand to activate his Overkill, so I can equip up to 1 weapon and call up to 1 monster. Usually I'll call Chaos Bards because it is kind of hefty call cost, and you know, you definitely want to call him because you can search out another card from your deck. Next up, I shuffle the deck. So I'll equip the weapon first, and then Chaos Bards enters the field, so I get to draw 1 card. And then next, if you need more resources, you can use Chaos Bards effect to call out Chaos Penta, which allows you to charge, gain 1 life, and draw 1 card. So imagine this: you have 1, 2, 3, 4 on the field, and you are still with 4 cards on hand. That's why the Order Deity draw power engine is just right now is at the top of the number 1 in the game. It's really powerful. Another combo is I would like to call it the rush style combo. So let's say you have Gauge in your deck, and during the battle phase, it can call monsters from the drop zone. So imagine you call this card to the center, pay 2 Gauge, so you remove a soul from an opponent, deal 1 damage, it gets penetrate, 3 crits, 3 crits. Now this one attacks for another 3 crits, 1 crit, and 2 crits and 2 crits. Then let's say you call a card from your drop zone. You know, if you want to call another Chaos Bards to attack, I don't know, it's okay, it's fine. Or let's say we call something like this, you know, to attack again. Then you Gauge 2. Okay, this is the Gauge 2 one, correct? And then use Auto Deity Army. You Gauge another 2, you know, and gain 1 life and stuff like that, and you can take back your impact and go for impact. Now let's count how many damage is that. It's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 damage. No OTK's way. And it's so easy to perform. And even by paying 3 Gauge, you still have 2 Gauge, you know, to, you know, defend yourself in the next turn, and with so many defensive spell. Now that is just really insane. Also, I would like to say about Gear God 7, like I said, you know, you during your opponent turn, let's say he attacks your center, you know, he kills your bards, it kills your whole center monster, and when your monster in center is destroyed, you know, I'll call Gear God 7, and maybe I'll call bards, and you know, bards I will call another Penta from the deck into the side, and you know, you can draw again, draw 1 more card, draw 2 more cards, a full field just like that, and you know, monsters at the side which does not really have any help to you anymore, you can just Chaos Drain him away. So I would say this deck, it is both offensively strong and defensively strong. You know, even though you're unable to find the old cards from the previous sets, but this deck works well as well. It is super powerful. It matches up to all the decks as well. So, and it's pretty easy to form, considering that you only need stuff from this set, driven to this order. So so this deck is also available on www.buddy-mart.com. Basically, you can look for singles over there, a bunch of constructed decks, sleeves. It's basically your one-stop go to Buddyfight. Keep on buddy fighting. I love you guys.